Yo, what it is, YouTube is Playback coming back with another bullseye of a video here today on the channel. We wanted to do a little bit of a ranking video, ranking some of the best, in our favorite plugins here at Playback Studios. So if y'all do like the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. What are some of your favorite Waves plugins that y'all like to use? And also, if y'all want to book a mix or check out the studio with this beautiful equipment that we have right here, check the links down below. So here we go. So today we're gonna actually be going over some Waves plugins. Waves are a pretty common plugin company that a lot of people usually start out with. It's usually like if you was like an apprentice chef, this will be like the first knives and the first forks and the first stuff that you get to use as you're trying to learn how to cook and be a chef type shit, but you're an engineer though. Okay, so here's the rankings, the tiers. We have mix and master tier, which is gonna be the best tier, the most superior, the A1. Then we have the rough mix, which is stuff that's good enough for the rough mix. Usually if you come over here, you record, that's gonna be one of those plugins that kind of lands on that demo when you walk out with it. Then you have vocal template, which is one of the plugins that we like to use around here, especially like as soon as we're recording people. It helps us get a fast sound and it just helps things feel good. It helps inspire the artist right away. Then you have the debatable plugins that people don't usually use. Maybe some people don't like that specific plugin on their voice. And then you have delete, the stuff that you guys probably shouldn't be using. So the very first one, I'm gonna actually put this at the mix and mastering tier. This is gonna be the Waves MV2. Now I know a lot of the times when people record here at Playback Studios, or most of the times with rap genres, they like their vocals to be up front, forward, and they want to be like a talent show. They want the spotlight to be on them. So that's where a great plugin like Waves MV2 comes in, because it has a great way of like a Cuban sandwich in Miami. It just kind of presses it, panini sandwich, it presses it. And because now you've pressed this sandwich, now it becomes more dense and more full. Okay, so that's why the Waves MV2 is a great plugin for especially rap vocals. Even squeezing something like an 808, it's great, and that's why it's at the mix and mastering tier. Another great plugin I know that we love to use here, especially a guy like JT, is gonna be the CLA vocals. Okay, so this is a great Swiss Army knife type of plugin that has the EQ, it has reverb, delay, it has a widener. But I feel like the most important part of that plugin is the parallel compressor, like the spank, bow, the wall, and all that stuff like that. That really gives it a signature sound, a signature tone. And a lot of times that it really adds a great energy. It adds, like, when you have like apples and they wrap a little bit of caramel around it, it adds that extra layer of sweetness to a vocal that just makes it feel mwah. All right, so after that we have the SSL bus compressor. I think Domino, he likes to use the SSL bus compressor. I'm gonna actually put it in the rough mix. It's a cool compressor. It's great to help glue things, get things to knock. But I think the analog button is great on this plugin too. It has a great way of making things feel more warm. And sometimes, because you know you're recording and you're recording over a 2-track beat, it's all sampled instruments. Sometimes things can feel sterile, so just clicking that analog button really gives a nice bit of saturation, a nice bit of flavor to things. Then you have the CLA 76, a great versatile plugin that works on ad libs, that works on lead vocals, parallel. You can use it on so many things. I think that's the best value plugin. You know how if you go to Walmart and they're like, oh, this is the value section, this is the best deal you're gonna get. I think the CLA 76 plugin would be the best value plugin from Waves, just because of the sounds you can get from it, how you can push it, you can use it on singing vocals, rap vocals, and it just gives you a great bit of aggressiveness. Sometimes some people lack aggressiveness because they might come to a studio, they might be a little bit shy when they record, so their tone might be a little bit like the first day of school and I don't know nobody. But the CLA 76, kind of gives that injection of confidence to lead vocals. So that's why it's going to be at the top. Very underrated plugin, man, but it's going to be the Waves L2 and the L1. Personally, I don't like to use the L2 on the master all the time. I prefer to use it on the vocals because I love the way it just distorts the vocals. It applies it's kind of like hot Cheetos chips. It applies that hotness, it applies those bell peppers, it applies, you feel me, the spiciness, it applies like that heat to the vocals. So it just has a great way of distorting. So that's a great way to take advantage of that plugin. And even the dithering, you can change the dithering. Dithering is a great thing too. It's kind of like white noise. I know FL Studio has some dithering integrated into it, maybe like what 16-bit dithering, but whatever it is, dithering is just kind of like that blanket, little bit of blanket noise that makes things sound less digital, more musical, okay? Because that's what you always want things to sound like, more musical. All right. So after that, we find ourselves with something like the CLA 2A. I think it's good enough for the vocal template, but I would say like the UAD versions are better. And I know, like, I think that on this Apollo right now that we have, like this Apollo solo, I think they're using the LA2A, and LA2A is pretty good. It's great just to pinch it by 1 dB, but sometimes some people rap really fast. I think that's where the CL1B is a little bit better because you have variable attack and release, so you can really fine tailor a sound for the artist. And that's what every artist wants. You as an artist, you should want things to be custom tailored to you. You feel me? To match your vibe, your sound, because you are unique. And that's what we give you here at Playback. Okay. So cool. After that, Pultec, I'm not gonna lie, Pultec is pretty fire, especially that MEQ1, how you can sculpt mid-range, but the EQP1A is always gonna be classic. It's always gonna be that throwback at the graduation, at the reunion, that throwback, that throwback Thursday, that person that was cool with way back when, that day one homeboy. That's gonna always be that plugin because of the way it handles the top end, the way it has a very gentle grandma's touch of a musical curve. All right, then you have a Silk Vocal. I'm not sure if anybody in the studio is using Silk Vocal like that, but it's like a Dollar Tree Soothe too. All right, it's. I feel like it doesn't sound as clean as Soothe, but it has the same function essentially. Okay. The SSLG channel strip, we're gonna put that in rough mix. Some people's vocals sound better with a SSLG. Other people's vocals sound better with a SSLE, but just know the difference between the G and the E is the G is a little bit dirty. That's probably good for like street rappers, and the E is a little bit more clean, a little bit more neutral, probably better for pop and R&B and maybe a little bit more mellow style of rap. Okay. Waves, real time auto tune, that's gonna go to the mix and mastering tier. That's a staple, and that's one of the better auto tunes. I feel like it sounds more natural than Antera's auto tune, and a lot of times maybe the artist isn't, you know, too confident about using auto tune. The Waves tune will always feels like it's just complementing their vocal rather than trying to make it sound like auto tune. All right, so that's a great thing. The Ampex is pretty cool, but a lot of times, um the tube tech CO1B will naturally make it brighter because it has a tube in there, you know. And I think the microphone is a U87 too, so that's the mid range is already gonna come through. Especially, a lot of times if you have a decent template, you know, um, you don't really need to add too much brightness. You feel me? Because if you add more and more brightness, it's gonna start interfering with the hi hats on your lead vocal. So that's something for you guys to be knowing of. The H delay going to mix and mastering tier because it's such a workhorse. It's just a staple. It doesn't let you customize it that much, but oh well. It's just the perfect rapid fire LMG machine gun type of delay that consistently works. It's that old reliable homeboy, that person you can trust. C6 is great, especially with the pop vocal preset. There's multiple ways to use it, and C6 is great. It's always good to have a multi-band compressor in your vocal template because it can, allow you to not use as much static EQ, right? And you can, depend a little bit on that multi-band compressor to, maybe work on certain spots that become too overwhelming. If there's a little bit too much belly fat, okay, do a little bit liposuction right there with the multi-band compressor type shit. Then J37 is pretty good. I would say it ends up on most of the mixes. It has a natural way of deharshing some people's voice who might be rapping too close to the microphone, or maybe people who are too far away from the microphone. They will benefit from a J37 because of that low mid tape bump. All right. Then we have the Shep 73. That's pretty smooth. I don't know if it would be working as well as the real WAS 73, but it's all the same stuff. You know what I mean? It's all the same stuff in terms of tone, in terms of the direction. And I just love how the 1073 will always complement the mid-range of people's voice. All right. Shep's Omni channel, the independent distortion is really good on this. So yeah, that's where we find ourselves at. And then the API 2500, not the 2500, but the 560 is A1. It's absolutely A1 in terms of it's absolutely A1 in terms of a modern EQ. And this is the graphic one. The 550 is great too, but the 560 is pretty good because it's like it was like Fab Filter before Fab Filter, and it has a beautiful style top end. Okay, so that's pretty much the end of the video here today. What do you guys think about Waves plugins? Which one of these Waves plugins do you have? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Suggest more video ideas and give us your opinion on our rankings here and how we like to use these plugins. Appreciate you now, YouTube gang. Peace.